How's it going, everybody? It's Maddie here today doing something a little bit different. I'm kind of nervous about it, and I'm doing my first ever movie review. I'm going to be reviewing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014 that just released August 8th. And yeah, as an avid Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan who grew up watching the 2003 cartoon version, watched all 4 of these movies here a bunch of times over. You see the poster in the background of every video. I own tons of apparel, and I have these cup holders that are Ninja Turtle stuff from the 80s cartoons. And I play every game of the Ninja Turtles, good or bad, and I just can't get enough of the Turtles. So I just want to introduce myself as a fan for those who may not know, or those who don't trust me right away, because it's my first movie review. But yeah, just like I said, as a huge Ninja Turtles fan, I had to do this. I just had to. So anyways, those movies and whatnot and the show is kind of what I'm basing my review off of as of what I like. I think that the 2003 cartoon from Cartoon Network was the best iteration of the Turtles. It was dark, funny, gritty, and awesome. They kicked ass, and it wasn't that cheesy, but it was a good amount of cheesy. You know, it was just the right medium of everything. I've been rewatching it this entire summer, and it still holds up to this day. In the order of my favorite movies, Secret of the Ooze, the original one, then the animated from '07, and then TMNT 3, which is better left unsaid. Anyways, just want to do a quick introduction there. So let's hop into the review itself. Let's start off with the cast, because that's a pretty big part of a movie, is it not? So Megan Fox as April O'Neil. This was a pretty bad choice, as a lot of people knew from the start. But me, as an optimistic fan, I was just trying to give this movie every benefit of the doubt. So I was thinking to myself, maybe April O'Neil won't play too much of a huge role in this movie. But nope, she got the Megan Fox treatment. Megan Fox is front and freaking center in this entire movie. There is hardly a scene without her. The beginning of the movie goes on about a half hour before you really see anything of the Turtles exactly. She's, like I said, is front and center, and it's just to the point where she even delivers the final blow in the final battle. I felt that was kind of like a smack in the face to the Turtles, because they spent most of this final battle getting their ass kicked. They kind of start getting their stuff together, and then April O'Neil delivers the final blow out of all people, which has never happened in these movies. She's usually not defenseless, but she's usually just a good friend and family member of the Turtles. And they do have a few emotional moments in this movie which are nice, but like I said, there's just too much of her, which wouldn't be bad, but she spends most of that time screaming or yelling, just really loud and not really adding much to the scenes and whatnot. Will Arnett as Vernon Fenwick, not a bad choice at all, lots of comic relief there. William Fichtner as Eric Sachs, as I will quote an IGN review, I believe they said that he could do this role in his sleep, which is completely true. Alan Ritchson as Raphael, kind of funny combination there. Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State, as he's more well known for, or he's in the Hunger Games as well, as Raphael. I didn't like it personally. Raphael is my favorite Ninja Turtle of them all, and I really didn't like that how he voice acted him. Number one, he didn't even have an accent, no Brooklyn accent whatsoever, and I can't even think of the last Ninja Turtles piece of entertainment I have heard or played that didn't have Raphael with his heavy accent, at least. Maybe slightly. The turtle who stole the show and really made this movie watchable, or viewable, whatever word, was Noel Fisher as Michelangelo. Michelangelo was fantastic, and really out of all the 4 turtle personalities that you could have gotten right, they got Michelangelo down pat. Perfect job as Michelangelo. Funny all the time, but it's not at the wrong times where it's like this super serious moment, or he's mainly, instead of Vernon Fenwick, really Michelangelo is the comic relief, but he's also kick-ass like he usually is in the shows or the movies and whatnot. They nailed him just right. Great writing for Michelangelo. Johnny Knoxville did voice Leonardo. He didn't sound too bad, but I don't know. Leonardo, the reason I didn't really like Leonardo that much in the movie is because it takes all the way until the end for Leonardo to take that leadership role, even though he's clearly the leader, they state multiple times throughout the movie. And so I was kind of confused this whole time, as they were not really establishing his core personality as kind of being the premier fighter, you know, the best one in the group out of everything, for the most part. And they really didn't do that for him until the end, and even then he didn't really do anything kick-ass, which he's really not supposed to be. But yeah. And then there's Donatello, which was portrayed as a 21st century nerd, which totally works. That's perfectly fine. You know, he had the glasses, the technology and stuff. And as someone who grew up watching the 2003 cartoon, you know, Donatello was always, almost like every week, you know, creating something new in this new episode as a gadget. And I was kind of wanting to see that, but unfortunately we did not. And I can't really hate on that too much, as the other movies didn't really do that as much either. But still, it was something that I was kind of wanting to see, is him, you know, creating something kind of makeshift. You don't really see anything, you know. You see a creative vehicle way later on, but that's about it. Splinter by Danny Woodburn, and the voice was Tony Shalhoub. Not bad. I felt that Splinter was almost like a throwaway cast member, though, because he basically, after the first like, it was like an hour and a half movie, I'd say, and after the first half hour, you don't see Splinter for the rest of the movie. So that was kind of like Splinter is such a key part of the group, and, you know, these movies speak for themselves, saying that even in the animated ones, Splinter is a very main aspect in those movies, as well as the shows themselves. And Splinter was a throwaway character in this, which I don't think, as a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan who loves Master Splinter, just like anyone else, he just wasn't in the movie enough to really say you don't like him or you do like him. But yeah, that's the main cast. The Shredder, you know, is deep, dark, whatever. But that's about it. And so that's the cast right there. So now that that's all covered, let's discuss a little bit about the way the Turtles look themselves, because I know a lot of people were complaining about them. I personally didn't have a problem with them right off the bat, but as a gamer, I play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which I think was the weirdest looking Turtles I've ever seen. So walking in this movie, I was kind of okay with it. That's my personal opinion on that. Now let's actually talk more about the movie itself. Story-wise, it's an interesting story. Instead of being this whole kind of story about the fact that the Turtles fell into the sewer and they got hit by the TGRI canister that turned them and mutated them and stuff. Instead, they were actually experiments in this lab, and I don't want to go too in depth and spoil anything, but that's kind of the difference maker there. And if you watch the movie, you uncover more and more about their past in a different way. It's actually a very interesting approach to it, and I really did enjoy that idea of the plot. Unfortunately, after that, it turns into your typical, and I say this unfortunately, and I'll explain why in a second, but it's your typical Ninja Turtles versus a Shredder head-to-head battle. And the reason why I say this is unfortunate is because I'm waiting for that movie where, and I'm going to pitch my plot idea where, you know, the Ninja Turtles, you think it's going to be your typical Shredder versus Ninja Turtles type of movie, and like 40 minutes in, the Shredder gets killed or something like that, and there's this brand new power just coming in and taking over the city, and the Turtles have to like change up their tactics and everything. They're kind of caught off guard because the Shredder's completely gone, something that the 2003 cartoon did as well. It took them about 40 episodes, but they eventually did do it, and that show kind of proves that that type of plot is possible. So yeah, you know, there's that. Now there's one little quirk I do have with this movie. And that's that, for me personally, and I feel like I shouldn't be alone on this one, why are the Foot like paramilitary troopers? I understand this is a modern movie, but like I can't think of any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing I have seen where the Foot have guns. I've seen like the Purple Dragons, you know, usually they have their chains and stuff, but you know, sometimes they have guns. Thinking to the 2003 cartoon, you know, you got the Triceratops and the Federation with their laser guns and whatnot. Sometimes the mobsters have guns, but usually they got, you know, like I said, the bat and the chain and the typical mobster weapons. I was kind of just taken off guard by the fact that the Foot actually had guns and were shooting at the Turtles. You know, part of the cool thing with the Turtles battling the Foot was it was ninja versus ninja, not ninja versus guns, and the Turtles are somehow bulletproof and just could get the shit shot out of them and be perfectly fine. So that kind of caught me a little bit off guard. It seemed, maybe I'm not afraid to admit, maybe I'm just a little too nostalgic, not able to move on. That's just me though. I felt that if you're going to put the Foot in there, they got to be Foot ninjas. I'm all for a new approach on the idea, a more modernized version of them, but I don't think putting guns in their hands was the right idea and making the Turtles completely bulletproof. But that's just me. Alright. So let's talk about the action a little bit. That is obviously being produced by Michael Bay. This is obviously the main highlight of the movie, and it was really good. The fight scenes were awesome and heavy, like impact fighting and stuff like that, but that's also what kind of worked against it. The Turtles are naturally very skilled ninjas because Master Splinter taught them ninjutsu when they were younger. And as they grew up, they became better and better at it. In this movie, they're kind of like hulking brutes that just literally pound the shit out of their enemies and use their strength more than their ninja skills to kind of do stuff. There are obviously multiple ninja moves like them jumping off of tables and like taking out 3 with like 2 kicks, like, you know, 1 kick forward and then a split kick or something like that. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying a lot of the times you'll find them like just decking these foot soldiers and whatnot instead of using their skill and their weapons and whatnot. There, like I said though, there's that famous, that's gonna definitely be a famous scene throughout this year, where they're sliding down the snow mountain and they're being chased by like an avalanche. You know, really cool scene there. And the Turtles using their weapons and their unique abilities, and that's why it's such a highlight in the movie. But it's really the only time that everything felt just downright perfect. But that's about all I can really say. The action was good. The story was kind of typical. The final battle was pretty weak, more so because the Turtles got their butts kicked most of the time, and it really didn't seem like they, even after the battle was over, like they won the initial fight. You know, and I'm not trying to hate on it because I promise you when I say you can look at my Twitter, search up my tweets and stuff like that, I was one of the people who had confidence in this movie. I was like saying like, this movie will be good. I feel like it will be good. You know, at least like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Like I want it to be good. I wanted to go in there so badly and just walk out and be like, yes, I'm satisfied. But I walked out pretty disappointed in the fact that, you know, I felt that April O'Neil was just too front and center the whole movie. Megan Fox was not a good one. You know, Judith Hoag was a great one. Paige Turco was a good April O'Neil, but I don't think Megan Fox is very fit for the role. I feel like there will be a sequel, and with that being said, the sequel does have a lot of room to work around and improve. They had the right ideas for it. Like, the plot could have been so much more. It could have been so much more deeper. But it's really set up well for a sequel where I don't know if it'll happen or not. But if it does happen, I definitely would say expect improvement because it is set up to be really good as long as they do it. But with this whole Nickelodeon TV show being very popular and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another version of these Turtles. And I'm all for it. You know, they're very cool, but they have to get the personalities right because that's, quite honestly, if you ask me, the simplest part. You know, Raphael's the hothead, not, you know, this crazy badass doing jumps out of the back of a truck and stuff. You know, Donatello, you know, they got his personality pretty right. Michelangelo, they got perfectly, and Leonardo has to be a leader. You know, doesn't have to be this side character that just fights. He's got to lead the Turtles. And I'll just leave it at that. You know, you guys have heard my review. It's a pretty long video. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I didn't stir up too much hate with this. I'm kind of nervous to make this video and post it. But yeah, I mean, this is just coming. I wanted to make this review kind of specifically for people to look up a review and kind of hear it from the point of view of a person who loves everything about the Ninja Turtles. And this is like the second time I've kind of been disappointed with the movie. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 Turtles in Time movie wasn't that good either. But these are the only 2 Turtles movies I kind of like left it disappointed. But I'd love to know what you guys think about this movie if you've seen it in the comments down below. I'm really curious on your thoughts on this because I feel like it's kind of one of those movies where you can either really like it or you can really hate it. From the standpoint of someone who's just a casual viewer and doesn't know much about the Ninja Turtles, it's not a bad place to start, but you can just pick this up for less than the price of a movie ticket. Movie ticket, when I saw it in 3D, $15. This is $8 at Best Buy. So you could pick it up and get 3 really good Turtle movies, or 2 really good Turtle movies, 1 decent one and 1 horrible one, for less than the price of a movie ticket, and really see some fan service. But there is hope, Turtle fans. I hope you've watched long enough to this point. I almost forgot about this. There is, on August 12th, and if you're watching this afterwards, it's out now, I will link you guys down below, a Turtle Power documentary, and it's going to be discussing the creation of Ninja Turtles and a lot of unknown stories, stuff about the comic books and the 80s cartoons and stuff and how they've evolved over time, and talking about the Turtles now. It's really exciting stuff, and there's a documentary on it, and you can buy it on Amazon, $20, DVD, so go ahead and check that out if you feel like you were lacking the proper fan service in this year's movie. Other than that, though, I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.